Hey guys, thank you for joining in tonight. Got Mr. AJ Mcwhorter from the Hobie BOS Series, Tournament Director for Hobie. Here tonight, we just want to talk to him a little bit about this year's schedule and some of the great things that are going on. So, selling out already. I mean, how crazy is this?
Yeah, it is crazy, but we've been working at it for a few years. We knew that once we did hit that first 200 angler capacity, that was going to kind of change the way that people registered and prepared for our events. And the big thing that we're getting people ask us is, why do we have a 200 angler maximum capacity for our events? And the biggest thing for our series is we want to make sure that the angler experience is put at the forefront of the event. 20 people in a 200 angler event are going to go home with money. There's going to be 20 people that go home with some great prizes, and that's all well and good, but there's going to be 160 other people that are not going to go home with anything but an experience. So we wanted to make sure that we could control that experience by feeding our anglers, having good host locations. Me as a director, I want to be able to communicate with anglers when there's issues, make sure they have the opportunity to get their best fish pictures in. And we believe that once you get to a certain point, that kind of takes away your ability to kind of control those things and make sure that you can have that more of a personal feel and my ability to make sure the event runs as smoothly as possible for the folks that do show up.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced that before. At Sam Rayburn last year, you had to call me and say, "Hey, watch your shading. You're not doing this right. You're not doing that right." And this is really, last year was my first full year as fishing a bunch of them and trying to really be a kayak tournament angler. I mean, I've done the bass boat thing for a million years. We just stick them in a live well. It's a little different. So taking pictures, I'm getting better at the pictures thing. I actually had one of the best fork this last weekend. I had one of the best groups of pictures I've ever done. I'm figuring out how to get that board across that outback and make it look the way it needs to look. So,
and that's a process, and that's a timing thing. The more time you spend taking pictures for events and doing all that, the more the more you're going to be able to get better at that and kind of develop your own system and just continue to get better at that. And we know that we get a lot of people, with these being open events, we get a lot of people that it is their first time.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we can kind of communicate with them and help them along the way for their process. And we just want to make sure that we can do that. And the fact that we've sold out our first 3 events in different parts of the country. We haven't even held our first event yet, and we've got all the way through April sold out. And then you can, Broken Bow is going to be a regionally attractive event for that Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas group of folks, and then definitely that next one at Chickamauga is going to be huge because Chickamauga is Chickamauga, and then you've got so many people that can get there from their location, and then we just go to the summer part of the schedule, and I think that some of our northern events are going to have great attendance. Susquehanna is going to be widely popular, and then we end our season on Lake Dardanelle, which will be folks' last opportunity to qualify for our Tournament of Champions. And our Tournament of Champions this year, we've got a $100,000 guaranteed payout to 10 anglers. The way that looks, we've got our pay scale published, but that's $45,000 to first, $15,000 to second, and over $10,000 to third. That's an incredible payout for a $400 entry and qualifying in that series with so many great anglers out here fishing competitively in kayaks.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I saw the schedule come out this year, I immediately texted you like, "Dude, great job." I mean, it's such a great schedule, and I'm looking forward to fishing a bunch of them. I had already determined I wasn't going to go to Sandy Cooper and would have been out of luck anyway because I didn't realize how quick it was selling out. I made sure I got in for Eufaula. I'm going to make sure I'm in for Broken Bow. Chick, most likely. I want to go to Susquehanna this year because I didn't get to go last year. I'm going to go to the Wolf and the Fox because God knows it's going to be a lot cooler there than it would be here.
Absolutely.
And then Dardanelle being one of my home lakes, I'm going to go there again. But it was just a great schedule. I love the way it's put together. And then Tournament of Champions being Caddo Lake. I mean, it's shallow cypress trees, right up my alley. Grew up fishing those oxbows up and down the Mississippi River. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
So.
There's some big old bass swimming around Caddo Lake.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah. I just missed qualifying for the TOC last year. As it worked out, I probably wouldn't have got to go anyway, but I mean, I was close. For my first year, it was kind of one of my goals was to get to go, and I just missed it by a quarter of an inch at Pickwick or 7 points overall. So either way, I was right on that doorstep. So we're going to get there this year.
No doubt, unfinished business, and you've got quite a few events on your list, and the way we do our structure, where we take an angler's best three for the season, kind of gives you an opportunity to have a couple tough tournaments, but also still put together, 3 good events or finish top 3 in any event to get into that 50 Angler Championship at the end of our season there in Shreveport, Bossier City in November.
Yeah. So, great circuit. Guys, if you haven't looked at the Hobie BOSs as a circuit that you want to go out and fish, this is one I highly recommend. I've really, really enjoyed fishing with them the last couple of years. I fished a couple 2 years ago, fished like 4 last year. Can't wait to get on the water with them again this year. So $260 entry fee.
$265 this year.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that we want people to know is these are open events. They're open to until we fill 200 anglers, but it's for anybody in a paddle or pedal kayak. It doesn't matter which brands you use. It doesn't matter what your experience level is. We have every type of kayak and every type of experience level angler that does come and participate in our events. Last year we had some of the biggest names in our sport win, and then we had folks that no one had ever heard of until they won. They showed up one day or a half a day to pre-fish and ended up putting it together for 2 days.
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated. If it's in your price range, if it's a fishery that you want to participate on, that's why they're called open events. They're something for everybody. If you can only fish one, or you're trying to hit 3 or 4 or 5, it's definitely set up that way to have as many people participate with us as possible this year and give as many folks an opportunity to qualify for our year-end event called the Tournament of Champions. And we've seen a good mix of that in our first 3 years of running events, and this 4th season I think we're going to see a lot. These sellout events, that's a first place prize of $10,500 on a $265 entry fee.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all for just a kayak tournament. Really, it's 2 days. You got to catch 10 fish, and that's almost $1,000 a fish when you look at it like that. 20 people are going to go home with decent checks, and we're just looking forward to seeing all these awesome fisheries and all these new anglers that are going to be participating with us this year. We're coming to different places all over the country, so make sure you check out the live registration when the registration goes live, because our last event, Lake Eufaula, sold out in about 4 hours. Some of these other events are going to sell out in less than that, so you got to have your finger on the trigger. 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and get into the ones you want to, and come have fun with us.
There you go. Well, thank you, AJ. We appreciate you coming out and talking to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This podcast is proudly powered by Battleborn Batteries. Let the power of lithium take you on your journeys across the outdoor world. Battleborn Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battleborn makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
Hey guys, I got AJ here from Hobie, the Southeastern sales rep. We're going to talk a little bit about Hobie tonight, and just some of the different aspects of the boats, and what a great value it is in what you get for your money. I mean, it's by far, you guys know, you've heard me say 100 times before, I love my Hobie Outback. It is my favorite boat. I can put that thing anywhere. It doesn't, it's a great weight distribution point. It's maneuverability wise, I love the way it works. I can still pedal that thing, 4.5, 5 miles an hour without really killing myself. Justin was playing around with his boat the other day with a trolling motor on it, and he was amazed at how fast I could actually keep up with that trolling motor and even just hang with him. So, great boats. So let's talk a little bit about Hobie and why it's so special. That pedal drive, you know, the rudder systems. Let's just talk a little bit about what we think of those.
Yeah. Well, for me, when I first started with Hobie, it was as a user. I'm an angler. I was trying to get out and fish more. I was wading a lot of creeks and rivers, and I had bought some other style kayaks and was paddling a lot, and it was getting kind of frustrated because I had a paddle in my hand. You know, I was never a kayaker. I was always a fisherman first, and so I went to a local shop and then a local boat show, and kind of fell in love with this system called the Mirage Drive, because I immediately envisioned how that drive system would work in the shallow creeks and rivers that I was spending all my time fishing in, chasing smallmouth bass in central Kentucky. And the ability of this drive that was kind of designed after how penguins swim through the water, it looks unconventional. It's not a prop style. You know, we've all seen how props move, you know, motors and things through the water. But it's completely different when you look at it. But when you use it, you feel how efficient it is. For me, it was the ease of getting it in and out. It was the shallow water access and maneuverability of this particular drive that made all the difference to me as a consumer in evaluating my next purchase in the kayak world. And I got it, and it did everything that I thought it was going to do. It was, you know, I could do shallow water flutter kicks. I could take the drive out if I needed to run through a quick shoal. The boats come with paddles, so you still have the ability to paddle. It's a great feature that comes with them. Yeah. And then all of that has this built-in rudder system that it helps you steer the bow of the boat wherever you'd like to go. Now, the drives have come a long way in the last 10 years. The rudder systems have come a long way. The hulls have come a long way. And for me, everything that's been designed on these boats and every feature that's available, you can tell that somebody that is a fisherman or that is using these boats in similar scenarios as you might be, put some thought and effort into that. The seats are comfortable, the standing decks are available and stable. There's great storage right where you need it. There's even better accessories for you to get it fit out the way that you want. And for me, you know, I've evolved through different boats. I started on an Outback, you know, 11 years ago, and you know, foam seats, different hull shape, fins that were way different than they look now. They've come a long way, and I've kind of evolved into the pro angler realm for me, and it's just because of that seat. That is one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in general, not just in a kayak. It is amazing. I take it on camping trips when I don't even take the kayak, because that's the seat that I want to sit in around the campfire. It's you know, you on the pro anglers, you've got internal rod storage that for me makes a big difference. I know some people like to have the rods up behind them in a crate system. For me, especially when I'm on rivers and creeks, I always like to have the rods down. And you've got 3 on each side on a 14, 2 on each side on a PA12, and you can tuck rods out of your way. They're protected, but they're right there convenient when you need them. So it's just so many things, but it all is evolved around that Mirage Drive. Yeah. It's efficient, it's fast, you've got forward and reverse, and then you've also got the new 360 that is the most amazing thing in boat control that I've ever experienced. You know, a half pedal stroke pointing to like the left there, and you can just reposition the bow of your boat and get right where you need to make that exact cast and bring your bait through the strike zone. And that's just one of the things that I love about our series and our lineup is once you use it, once you experience it, you're able to immediately feel how that helps you catch more fish and stay in position to catch more fish.
Well, I mean, it just, you know, with the effortless piece of having the rudder and being able to kick, you know, it gives you so much more flexibility and so much more casting time and so many more casts a day. You know, in kind of playing with the numbers, I've kind of figured it's about 30% more cast is what I've got it figured at, is what you'll get out of using that Hobie Mirage Drive. You know, you talk about the flutter kick and everything. I have a video that I filmed at Kentucky Lake that I keep on my phone when I'm talking to customers. And it's me driving a PA-14 through that little shallow alligator grass and through lily pad stems, and then fins just kicking everything out of the way. And when you're going through it and you're just sitting there just fluttering it, and those pedals are just underneath the boat, and you can hear them popping, but you're going right through that alligator grass like there's nothing there. So you can get to some shallow areas really easy that you can't get to otherwise. One of the other things that you touched on, which is now eluding me in the middle of my conversation, was being able to cast. It's really effortless. I mean, it just really is, and you just get so many more casts out of it. So.
Yeah, and that's we're all looking, especially from a fishing standpoint, is how can we get more casts in the right areas. That's really the game. And what I've found with my Hobies, no matter what model I've been in over the years, is I'm able to control my boat and control the positioning of my boat with the Mirage Drive and the rudder system, and now the 360. So much better than anything I've ever been in before, and I'm able to make the right casts, and if I need to adjust the control of my boat, I've got a handle on each side. My feet are able to kind of pedal and do their thing. No matter what that wind or current situation is, I'm still able to kind of maintain that position that I need to put myself in a position to make the right cast over and over again. And hopefully put more fish in the boat, because that's the game. Yeah, that's what we're all trying to do.
And just not even just for fishing, but even from a recreational side. I mean, we have a lot of great boats in the Compass and the Passport that make a good fishing boat, but they still make that great recreational boat for. You can take your wife, take your girlfriend. They can fish alongside of you, or just kind of tool around with you and just watch you fish or take pictures. My daughter kayaks with me a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what she doesn't fish, but she puts her standard poodle up in the front of her boat, and and she just kind of pedals around with taking pictures of me or taking pictures of the wildlife. I mean, we come back with a crap ton of pictures of ducks and deer and squirrels and all that kind of stuff, and that's what she loves to do.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. It's just so hands free, and you can put it in a lot of places, and that's the great part. So.
Well, I think that's a good point you touched on. Is we all think of fishing, but recreation on the water is such a big deal, and Hobie.
How they started.
That's how they started, and you're right, and that's been a big focus of theirs. And when you come and look at a boat here at S.Y. Wilson, you'll be able to see that every one of our boats has recreation and fishing built into it, no matter what model it is. You've got rod holders in every boat, but you also have a mast adapter if you wanted to add on one of those awesome Hobie kayak sails. You can pedal every boat that we have, or you can paddle every boat that we have. You can do both and get a good exercise as well. And then then we have motor options and things like that. So whatever you want to do in a Hobie kayak, or whatever you want to do on the water, you can do in a Hobie. One of the most versatile crafts that our industry has ever seen, from the ability to pedal it, paddle it, sail it, fish it, motorize it. The places you can go, the things that you can do in these things are just phenomenal. And I think that over time, our drive systems, our rudder systems, we've made them even easier to use, simpler to put together. And ultimately, we make these boats so people can have fun on the water. And when you try a Hobie and you get into a Hobie, you really, really feel that.
Yeah. And guys, we say it all the time, but just a reminder, if you want a demo, call me. We schedule demos all the time. We do them not far from here, but we love doing demos and getting you into that first one so you can kind of get the feel of it, because that's really what will sell you. I mean, if I can get you in a Hobie to do a demo, you're going to buy it. I promise you. So anything else that you want to add about Hobie right now that we can talk about?
No, I just agree there that trying one out, if you're on the fence or you're in between different products out there, just demo boats. Make sure you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm partial to Hobie. David over here, he loves his Hobie as well. But it's all what you're going to like. We want you to be comfortable in a boat. We want to find the one that fits you and your body and your lifestyle the best. And that's what doing demos and talking to experts is all about. It's an exciting purchase. We want to make sure you get the one that you're going to enjoy every time you get out on the water.
Thank you, guys.